Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at UCLA. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at HuskerFanTravel.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has zero hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley.
Defending Terrell Farley,
Who last week in his first start was a holy terror. Number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
All right, welcome to Bock the Blackshirt, 93.7 The Ticket. We are here to talk Nebraska football. Nebraska is 3-0. Hip, hip, hooray.
Bring back
as
Mike
we
Riley.
go. Welcome Monday, September 15th. Big week of practice for the Cornhuskers this week as they take on Michigan this Saturday, September 20th. CBS, Parliament, or whatever they call that channel, but it'll be on CBS. We'll be there live. I'll be there live. Bock, Nebraska versus Houston Christian.
Yeah.
You went.
Yes.
How was it?
It was fantastic. It was a great day of college football. Obviously, Nebraska did what they could to kind of, mix up the jerseys, get the red jerseys in there, make it a spectacle. And it's always, it's always great to see the Memorial Stadium packed. Obviously, this was not the biggest or best of opponents. And so, we kind of got what we expected out of it. But that hasn't always been the case, right? To get what you expect out of that type of game and get the beat down. Nebraska did. It's kind of funny there at the end. My friend and I were kind of debating back and forth about whether they would send out a field goal or try to clear 60 once again. Again, as in a lot of college football games, the score, they could have added a little bit more toward the end. The red zone offense certainly not doing any favors to that in their last couple of possessions. So a few things to iron out. But for the most part, Nebraska did what they should do. against Houston Christian, and that's run them out of the building.
All right, Bach, it was a little heated at the game. When I say heated, I mean hot.
It was hot, yeah.
Seen a couple of people that lady on my Facebook say she passed out. Say a lot of other people probably was a little heat index was probably up. How was it at the game when you seen people? Did you see people leaving early? How was the game?
Yeah, I mean, I was at West Stadium. It was my first time to the 300 level, kind of the top of the stadium, about 6 rows from the top.
Nosebleed.
Yeah, kind of want to see what that was. It was fantastic, by the way. Up there, you don't, of course, you don't have the seat back, but there is a rail right behind me. And my friend who has been having seats up there for a long time has now, through the pick your seat plan, has gotten seat number 1 and 2 in a row. So we didn't have to, ask for people to move or anything like that. We can get right to the concessions if we needed to. So that was fantastic. A little bit hot at times, yes, but the wind, at least up where I was kind of negating that for a majority of the game. So it really wasn't that bad. Now, when they kind of got around, and they do, obviously, you kind of count everybody who's all the tickets that are sold and all that. So by the time they got around to announcing the sellout, of course, it was another sellout. The building was half full would probably be kind. So it's kind of funny. They were, maybe, and I don't know. I understand that it takes some time to count all that up and get going. But by the time they announced the 80+ thousand people or whatever the number is, it did not look that way. But again, that's, and then I started hearing the rumblings from around the crowd like you usually do. Well, I see some seats over there. There's plenty of seats. And in this case, there were seats everywhere. And the difference between a sellout and having a butt in every seat. But it was good enough. I think a lot of people beat traffic, went home. There were some great games on. And then a lot of people, about half, maybe stuck around and wanted to see it toward the end of the game. And it made exiting getting down, exiting Lincoln, I'm sure, but exiting downtown and in the parking garage and all that a little bit easier. So it flowed quite well, I think. And again, all to be expected in a 59-7 victory where the starters were pulled early in the second half. But I think it was your goal coming into the game. And Houston Christian, for what it's worth, occasionally would get something kind of going. Their best drive was on a pass interference early on in that game that allowed them to get their first down. I thought, this is their best drive of the game. Next play, Riley Van Poppel sacks him. William Swinnear, he picks it up and goes to the house. Said, oh, that's their worst drive of the game. They were a team that struggled. Anytime they kind of get anything going, they would kind of get in their own way and have a penalty. But to that point is that, Nebraska, regardless of who you're playing, those sort of things can pop up. And so Nebraska, did not hurt themselves too overly with any penalties or turnovers. And so, it just continued the idea that I think this team appears to be well coached.
Yeah, I think Nebraska is a well-coached team. Now we get into the heart and soul of the Big Ten schedule. Now we're going to go over these stats, Bach, that we had this past game. Total offense, total yards. Houston Christian University, 160. Nebraska, 554 yards. Passing yards, Houston Christian, 67 yards. Nebraska, 362 yards. Rushing yards, Houston Christian, 93. Did have 140-something, lost 42 yards on negative, on sacks and things like that, Bach, to take away their 100 yards worth for yards they had rushing. Nebraska, 196. Individual, when we talk about individual, Dylan Riola, quick day, made it quick and simple for him. 15 of 21, 220 yards, 2 TDs. TJ Lateef, 5 for 5, 126 yards, 1 TD. Quinn Knives, 12 carries, 85 yards, 1 TD. Emmett Johnson, 13 carries, 78 yards, 2 CDs. Dan Key, 4 catches, 106 yards, 104 yards, 1 TD. Cortez Mills, 3 catches, 98 yards, 1 TD. Pretty even game. No punts again, Bach. So yeah. Archie sits out again with no punts. Probably just need to kick him in warm-ups the way it's going for him on the punt thing. Bach, what was you pleased about in this game when we talk about this last game around here?
Oh, yeah, they talk about Archie Wilson being able to pass and run and all that. You might just put him out there on offense one of these plays so his family can see him. But, I thought it was interesting. Early on, of course, another way this game could have got to 60 points was if Nebraska converted early on. They had to take a field goal rather than punch it into the end zone. And again, you start to get the rumblings around the stadium. But I thought it was impressive. Dylan was able to adjust. I think the wind was maybe factoring in on that first drive, so kind of adjust. Obviously, getting warmed up, all that sort of stuff. Sometimes you can fire out of the gate. Sometimes, regardless of the opponent, you're a little bit off, or the wind's bothering you a little bit, and you make that adjustment. But for the most part, I mean, in a 59-7 victory, you almost kind of go the opposite. Like, what were you impressed with? What weren't you impressed with, right? Most of it kind of falls into the category Nebraska was able to get it done. Rushing defense, to your point, I mean, they would have had over 100 yards if not for the sacks. A lot of that with the long run by Zyshawn Edwards. Talk about who you're impressed with. I was impressed with him. But that was kind of one play, big play that changed the shutout. Obviously, the opportunity to get back-to-back shutouts. And that you just don't want that to happen. Obviously, they had a chance to get him in the backfield, and nobody touched him after that. I mean, you got to be able to swarm to the ball, take better angles, particularly on that play. But altogether, when you look at it, the passing game looked good. You got again a little bit after that first drive, you were able to kind of get some folks involved, particularly Cortez Mills, on a pass from TJ Lateef to kind of get him going. The running game was good. I think the biggest thing that needed to happen in this game was to find out who your backup running back was. I don't know if we found it out. I think they just decided going in, or maybe already had the idea. Maybe they won it in practice, whatever it might be. Quentin Ives appears to be the top backup and was able to get a lot of those carries. Again, Mekhi Nelson held out of this game. So maybe I'm misreading that. But going in the Michigan game, at least my goal for this game was to kind of circle a top backup. I think they did that.
Yeah, we talked about this Friday, and I said that Quinn Ives needs to put himself forward in front of these guys a little bit. I think he did that. 13 carries, 12 carries, 85 yards. Led the team in rushing. He's probably not in shape like we like it, Bock, and he's probably running a little high because he still missed a lot of training camp. But the last 2 weeks, I think he's trying to get his feet back under him, trying to get himself adjusted as a runner. Would like to see him run a little lower. I think he's running a little high for a running back and holding the ball pretty up high when he runs it. I did watch a little bit of the game. I didn't watch much of it, Bob, because it was just so much couch potato going on right there when I talk about great games this weekend. But when you talk about
you were watching the Clemson Georgia Tech game.
I sure was, Buck. And I told you, by the way, that Clemson was going down. So, but when you look at the other guys like TJ Lateef, man, what a great guy, what a great freshman that's coming in, that's putting up numbers here, that's probably getting him film for next year unless we can hold him. I mean, with the way that Dylan's going, he can't come out this year. How long does TJ Lateef wants to be a backup?
Yeah.
How long before he starts thinking that he could be a starter somewhere else and then make a little bit of change at the same time? Don't want to put words in. I don't want to sound like I'm shipping the young man out, but when he goes out here weekly and does things like this as a backup, it seems like Iowa could knock on your door.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, he's definitely, they run a little bit of a different option or a bit of offense a little bit when he gets in there. Obviously, the run element, you can do kind of more RPO stuff. And so it is interesting. Like you said, I can't figure it out. I don't know if you handed them Tom Brady if they could go out and get 200 yards passing. I mean, they really struggling with that. But one way or the other, it is interesting to kind of follow that along. But to Quentin Ives too, I think going back to him, there's kind of this idea: is he kind of the bigger back? Is he can be your kind of thunder to the lightning that Emmett Johnson provides? And though he's not 225, 230, something like that, he's listed at 215. He sure is a north-south runner. I mean, there's not a whole lot of glitz and glamour to his game. He's going up and down the field, and so I think you kind of, again, maybe even if he's I don't know, maybe Mekhi Nelson or Mosey get a few more ticks in the next couple of games, and it's back to a competition of who's your number 2 running back. But I think you definitely have a contrast in styles, at least with him and the other running backs, and I think that'll obviously provide certain opportunities for him to get into the game, and we'll see. I mean, maybe he does still run a little bit high, gonna have to adjust a little bit as we get going here. But again, I think that was huge for Nebraska, just to establish who that would be. And they didn't have to, take a whole half doing it and running off all the, the time of the clock or anything like that. They just kind of integrated it into the game. So I thought that worked out well. That was huge. And then again, back to Latif, just looking good when he's out there. And I think the key piece that you kind of talked about is NIL money. I mean, the amount of money that quarterbacks are getting in kind of a free agency period, right? The transfer portal is crazy. I mean, it's such a bigger number than any other position. And so it's just interesting. I don't think you necessarily coach to that. You think, let's not get, tape on this guy, but everybody wants to play, and especially if you're expected to be the guy coming in. So Nebraska themselves is probably going to, if they want to keep Latif, probably going to have to bid a little bit for him, to your point, this offseason.
Yeah, don't know how much backups in college are making, but in the NFL, they make a damn good living just being backups. So Nebraska will have to come out the pocket this offseason to keep this young man here. I'm not trying to jinx him, but when a kid plays that good, go 5 for 5 for 126 yards and a touchdown, and still can carry the ball twice. How many times did he carry it? 3 times for 5 yards. That's 5 yards a pop. Hey, he's looking great to me. All right, Bob. Dan Key finally woke up.
Yeah.
Finally found his key to the car, and he drove off in the sun. 4 catches, 100 yards. Long as a 40 yards after catch, 37. So we're looking at about 21 yards, 26 yards a pop, Bob, when we look at his average for those 4 catches.
Yeah, and it's interesting because on the opposite side of that, I thought that Isaiah Hunter has looked the best, so far this year at wideout for Nebraska, and he only hauled in 1. And of course, he was such a key component to their drives the previous games against Akron. So it's kind of interesting, one guy can kind of step up from one game to the next, and I think maybe that's kind of how you prefer it. Not so easy to game plan for, but Dinky's already, has always had it in him. The one thing that I thought was a little bit glaring on his season last year is only reached the end zone twice. Now already through 3 games, 3 times, 3 trips to the end zone. So already surpassed that level last year. It's in him. And then the other thing is, it's not just that. I mean, he was blocking well. He kind of just seemed to have a mismatch. I mean, everybody had a mismatch, but he seemed to be among the biggest mismatches out there. And I think Nebraska exploited it.
All right, Bob Cortez Miz, freshman, 303 catches, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. Kid's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. He's caught in a position where you have a lot of guys that's fighting for playing time at receiver here, especially when you play behind a guy like Dan Key or Ja'Cory Barney or Isaiah Hunter. But he did a great job.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and that play, the 62-yard, I think it was the longest play of the game of the season for Nebraska so far. And just, kind of coming along a little bit every game. He's been getting the snaps. This time he's able to show off his big play ability. And you look at Nebraska now, with him included, they've already got 5 guys, including Lindenmeyer, over 100. Mosey's, 7 yards away. Clark already went out there, Quentin Clark, in the previous game, and showed he can kind of be a big play down the field threat as well. So Nebraska's looking good there. I mean, you expected, again, from Dane Key, Barney, and Hunter to be those guys, and they all are that, ranging from anywhere from 160 to 190 yards for each of them. But it was, kind of the quality of the depth that's going to stick up behind him. We said young guys had an opportunity. Which young guys will step up? So far, it's been Cortez Mills. It's been, Quentin Clark. And to a degree, Isaiah Mosey, who was that one time a young guy in the wide receiver room, again, moved to running back, but has 9 receptions compared to 1 carry so far. So still kind of being used as a pass catcher primarily.
All right, Bob, great game Saturday. Now We come back with another one this Saturday. When we come back, we're still going to talk a little bit more about Houston Christian, but we're going to bring up those Michigan Wolverines who's coming to town and a couple of coaches already fired.
That's right.
Week 3 is over. Coaches are gone already. Bock in the Black Shirt, 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Experience an electric vehicle firsthand at LES's EV Ride and Drive, September 28th at the LES Operations Center. Registration is open now, but spots are limited. Visit les.com/drive to reserve your drive.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
What's it take to be a mentor with big brothers, big sisters? It takes 30 minutes and a cup of coffee. A video game, best 2 out of 3. It takes sharing thumbs up emojis, clapping emojis, and loaded nachos at halftime. That's how you make an impact on a young kid's life. So go on, share a few hours a month, because mentorship may sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. To learn more, volunteer, or donate, go to bebignow.org.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider for you. Getting healthier starts by getting personal at CHI Health Clinic.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel. You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock the Blackshirt, 93.7 The Ticket. We are powered
by
Power.
Infrastructure.
Power.
Underground.
Brad.
Excavating.
Shout out to the Bauer crew out there working hard. All right, Bock, let's get back on it. Some more Texas Christian news out of there, Bock. Isaiah Mose, 1 punt return for 38 yards. How good was it, Bock?
Well, it was exciting. It was good to see somebody besides Barney showing a little bit wiggle to him as well. I knew Mose was going to get that opportunity. The punter kind of outkicked his coverage, so you could kind of see it coming. And then Mose was able to use his athleticism out in the open field, which again is everything they've been trying to do to get him the ball in open field. So makes you feel a little bit better about the punt return unit. Again, I'm not sure. Statistically, last week we kind of went through, okay, Barney, this punt return yardage was more than anything in the last 4 years, all that sort of stuff. Mose wasn't quite as long or didn't have as many opportunities, but it is in that same kind of category, and it makes you feel good. I mean, again, there's been years where Nebraska's punt return team is a fair catch machine. There's years where they average more if they just catch the ball and lean forward. Obviously, there's years where you've muffed punts and lost games because of it. This year, you not seem to have more than one option as far as a guy that can really get something going there.
All right, Bock, black shirt defense. We're going to go around here, turn around, talk about the black shirts. Bock, Rex Go-Through led the team with 6 tackles, 5 assists, 1 solo. Andrew Marshall had 5 tackles. Donovan Jones had 4 tackles. Dawson Merritt had 4 tackles. Jameer Khan had 4 tackles. Marquise Watkins Trent had 3 tackles and a sack. Michael Booker the third, number 43.
Yeah,
my guy.
43 out there.
I'm going to get his jerseys one day. He's going to give it to me. Caleb Benning, 3 tackles. Jeremiah Charles, Deshaun Singleton. Willis McGahee is picking up a lot of time lately. He had a tackle for loss, 2 tackles. We had 3 sacks on the day, Bock. No INTs, but 3 sacks. That'll do it for me, Bock.
Yeah, that'll work for Nebraska. And again, it's not necessarily in a game like this about somebody going out there and getting 30 tackles. They were able to rotate a lot of different folks in here and get the opportunity to develop that depth. That's what we're kind of talking about with this Akron and Houston Christian game, was an opportunity to get guys some experience and some snaps under their belt. So that way, when you're called on to do that against a Minnesota or USC, Penn State, Iowa down the line, you've already been there. So I think that was good. Shout out to Jameer Khan, of course, kind of starting and standing in place of Malcolm Hartzog. I don't think he necessarily missed a beat there. From what we've heard today, it sounds like Hartzog will be ready for the Michigan game. But for the most part, yeah, it was a good group effort, and I was happy to see Marquise Watson Trent, particularly with his sack, because one, it was a little bit of a highlight. I think that's something we can throw in the highlight reel. And just in general, I've been kind of waiting for him to kind of get into his rhythm here at Nebraska. And so hopefully that can kind of, start something for him. Obviously Deshaun McCullough getting his sack and his celebrations. I think now that we've seen it a few times, he's going to continue to do some interesting celebrations afterwards. So that'll be kind of fun to follow throughout the year. Riley Van Poppel, a guy that's had a lot of talk around him about not being a black shirt, not starting, of course, because he was a team guy, redshirted last year, was voted to have a single-digit number, and he was able to cause a fumble that led to a defensive touchdown for Williams Nwaneri. And obviously very excited about Williams Nwaneri getting in the end zone. He said it was the first time he's ever scored a touchdown, which is surprising for a former 5-star prospect, but obviously playing on the defensive side of the ball. And he was giving the guy the business that tried to come and take that away from him there at the end. But it's just one of those deals again where I don't know if you necessarily need anybody to go out there and dominate in the stat column. Though shout out to Rex Guthrie, like you said, for leading the team in tackles and for making taking advantage of the opportunities he had. But just to get some flash plays from several different guys. They weren't able to hold the shutout, as we know. Houston Christian was able to bounce back outside of what should have been a tackle for loss and turn it into a big touchdown down the sidelines. And I know, rotating is part of the sport. It's part of football, and you got to know how to kind of play together as a unit. But I was really impressed with all the different names they're kind of throwing out there that the defense, for the most part, was able to do what they needed to do what they should do. Again, I mean, any Houston Christian guy getting offered to Nebraska, he might be at Nebraska. So it's understanding that's the case. But even that being the case, you got young guys out there, guys that hadn't played a whole lot, certainly hadn't played a whole lot together, and they were able to kind of, for the most part, keep up their end of the bargain outside of that one play.
All right, Bach, special teams was great. Everything else was great. Let's do some grades, Bach, because we're not going to stay on these short games like this long. We're gonna jump the gun in a little bit and head on to college football. That was played last week, and we're gonna jump a little bit of Michigan. All right, Bach, let's start off with your grades.
All right, we're gonna go through the passing game.
Yeah, rushing, passing, offensive line. Special teams.
Yeah, well, let's start with quarterback then, where we kind of already talked about it. I think Dylan Raiola, outside of that first drive, we got a text in saying you got to convert on field goals into touchdowns. Absolutely, that's got to be the case. So, again, Wind kind of adjusting to the first part of the game. After that, smooth sailing from there. And then TJ Lateef come in 5 for 5 and kind of got things going there. So, I mean, I don't know how much more you want. I would, the completion percentage on the season maybe went down a little bit for Dylan, but not by much. So they could have decided. I mean, he could have went out there and threw for 400 or 500 yards and 5 touchdowns if they wanted to. So they let TJ Lateef come in, get his experience. He looked good. And then of course Gramstead, again, wishing they would have been able to convert there on 4th down late. Maybe a little bit of a ding there too. So maybe an A- from the quarterbacks here.
All right, Buck. I'll give him A- too, Bob.
Yeah, pretty good score. From the running game, the running backs, Quentin Ives, 12 carries for 85 yards, a touchdown. Emmett Johnson, 13 carries for 78 yards, 2 touchdowns, another touchdown for TJ Lateef, running around. Kenneth Williams, Vincent Genatone, Isaac Dickey, Connor Booth, all getting a run there late in that performance. Maybe could have got to the 200-yard mark, didn't quite get there. But again, I think the goal for the game was to figure out your backup quarterback and keep Emmett Johnson with confidence and going the way that he had been going. I think with the 2 touchdowns and the way they utilized him there, that works. And then they found out who their running back was going to be. So, I mean, again, because of the opponent, maybe I'm grading a little bit hard here. Maybe could have done a little bit better. So I'd go B+. All
right, I'll go B-, Buck. I think we should have rushed for at least 300 yards against a team like Houston Christian, and you didn't. Wouldn't say you couldn't, but you didn't. So I'll go B- right there, Buck.
Yeah. Let's go to the receivers then. We mentioned Dane Key, 4 for 104 and a touchdown. Cortez Mills, 3 for 98 and a touchdown. Corey Barney gets in the end zone on a 9-yard catch, I believe, 3 for 22 and that touchdown. Heinrich Harburg, just 1 catch for 13 yards. Of course, he's more in the tight end category. We can loop them in here as well. Luke Lindenmeyer, 1 catch for 9 yards, dropped one that was probably going to go for about 14, 15. So maybe you count that against them a little bit. Again, with the passing game, we already kind of give it an A- to the quarterback. I don't think you can go too far behind that from the receivers. I thought the especially the downfield blocking or the blocking from Dane Key was pretty impressive as well. So, I'd stick in that same area. There's a few things, stat hunters you might want to watch. Like I would have maybe seen Isaiah Hunter get a little bit more involved, Heinrich Harburg a little bit more involved, but they kind of did what was expected out of them. So I'd keep it in the A range for a 59-7 victory.
All right, Box, same here, A.
Yeah. Offensive line, we just kind of broke it down from there. I don't think there's too much more to get into it. Like you said, maybe expect a little bit more from the running game as far as totals go, but 59-7 win once again. No punter needed in this game. 1 field goal, 1 turnover on downs. Kept kept the pocket pretty clean. I don't believe there were any sacks in this game. So, yeah, I mean, I'd give them an A.
Same here, Bob. I'm just going to go with you.
Yeah. You like my scores.
No reason to fight it, Bach, on a 56-7 game.
Right.
I can't debate it. It's hard to debate on a game like that.
Yeah. Let's go to run defense and pass defense then. So we kind of look at the opposite side there. Houston Christian, 11 of 18 for 67 yards. Third straight game under 70 yards. No touchdowns, obviously. Nothing too hurtful to Nebraska in the receiving category. In fact, the longest pass all game long for Houston Christian was 10 yards. And I saw a stat. I don't see if I have it in front of me or if I can run it down here. Robin Washington tweeted this out. Sierra Wright has played 108 snaps in the first 3 games this season. He's been targeted 4 times. 1 catch, 4 yards through 3 games for Sierra Wright. So again, I mean, I was kind of expecting him to maybe get some interceptions this year. Well, they have to throw his way for him to have an opportunity at doing that. Fantastic start for him. I mean, pass defense, where can you go other than an A+ again for the number 1 pass defense in the country statistically right now?
Yeah, Bach, I agree with you on that. They're having a great season so far at the start. Don't know how much Michigan can pass on it, but they're sure going to try to run on it. All right, Bach, are we done with the grades?
Well, we got rush defense real quick.
Rush defense. Hey, give them a what? No, I give them a B-, Bach. You gave up over 100 yards. Luckily, the 3 sacks that you gave up was negative, 27 yards. So, and then you, I'm just saying, it's not like they didn't give 100 yards up. It's just the minus part took it away.
Well, and obviously the big run play to score the touchdown.
Especially at it. So I'll give them a B-, Bach.
I'll go B+, but same type of thought process.
All right.
And I don't think there's any reason to get no punting. 1 kick that was made. There's not much in the special teams. Like I said, the punt return. So keep on line with this 59-7 win, an A maybe for special teams.
All right, Bob. What else you got?
Well, we probably should go to break. We're getting up against it.
All right, let's go to break, Bach, and when we come back, some more college football talk, Nebraska talk, NFL talk. Yeah, my Falcons won, baby. Take that, Minnesota. Take that. 93.7 The Ticket. Bock the Black Shirt will be right back.
Over 75% of the patients that come to Limitless Male have been told over and over again by their primary care providers that their testosterone level is fine. Guess what? If you have all the symptoms of low testosterone, you're not fine. Come get a second opinion at Limitless Male. We have helped tens of thousands of men feel optimal again, and we can help you. Stop waiting. Come see the men's health experts. Book your free consult online at limitlessmale.com.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider for you. Getting healthier starts by getting personal at CHI Health Clinic.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Experience an electric vehicle firsthand at LES's EV Ride and Drive, September 28th at the LES Operations Center. Registration is open now, but spots are limited. Visit les.com/drive to reserve your drive.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs has been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Hi, this is Tom Osborne. Join me on September 23rd and dine at your favorite local Renza in support of Teammates Mentoring. 10% of Renza sales on September 23rd will benefit your local Teammates Mentoring chapter. Teammates Mentoring helps students reach their full potential by providing a caring adult mentor to meet with them once a week in school. Thank you for your support of Teammates Mentoring. We will see you at Runza on September 23rd.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. It'll be warm with an afternoon high near 89. Tonight, mostly clear skies and calm winds, low near 66. Tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. It'll be hot with a high around 90. Meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
When the clock strikes zero after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches, too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinnie Krekak of State Farm Insurance. You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. 93.7 The Ticket, Bock in the Blackshirt. If you missed it, you need to go back on Netflix and watch it again. Terrence Bud Crawford has been crowned champion again, Bock, as he defeats Canelo Alvarez. What's his name? Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. Bud gave him a good old flushing butt whooping. Great strategy. I tell you what, the fight was so late, Bock. I woke up, it was in the third round. I had to get up out of my sleep and watch it. I fell asleep on the couch watching the undercard of the other young guy that they had, but I was able to watch it all. And I think Bud did a great job of his defense mode. I think he did a great strategy. I think him putting Omaha on the map again and again, it's a great win for Bud and to solidify him probably as one of the top 10 fighters of all time in boxing.
Yeah, it's definitely one that helps him out in that level. Obviously, you talk about Canelo Alvarez, one of the best to do it himself. So you kind of can have a nice new shiny a nice victory to throw on your mantle, right, for Bud Crawford. But like you said, I mean, a lot of this was just cool to see the publicity for Nebraska. A lot of his entourage came in with Nebraska hats. You could see Nebraska jerseys around him as well. He had Omaha, like you were saying, on the back of his shorts, his boxing shorts, and and then Matt Rule was in the audience with his chains on. So Matt Rule cool enough to get down there, and we'll see. I mean, obviously he led Nebraska out for the Colorado win last year. If things work out, Matt Rule's already done some speaking engagements for Bud Crawford too. Is hopefully Bud Crawford will be in town and be able to lead Nebraska out against Michigan. I think that would
That's
be
the
awesome.
95 team, Bach. Why would you not let the 95 team lead Nebraska out? Stop trying to take our glory. And Bud did a great job.
Stop living in the 90s.
I'm not
Bud
living in the
dropping
90s. We're having our reunion here. Our reunion, not any other reunion. Don't let no Will Compton or anybody else. You let the 95 team walk them out and give them a prep talk.
All right, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we play the game, Bach.
You're not wrong. They've already designated that kind of for the 95 team. I would be surprised that maybe if you don't use him for a little bit of
you let them both. I would love
rub.
to walk out with Bob.
Yeah,
I mean with Bud. You know, just all champions.
There you go.
I love the fight. I love the way he fight. I love his style. The man is a great fighter. His competitive style is unbelievable, great, and you probably will never see another boxer like this in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the question there, kind of goes from what's next. I mean, he's just kind of crossed everything's off his list for moving up weight classes. I mean, is there any other weight class you want to move up to? I mean, you're just asking quite a bit. So I'm interested to see what's kind of next for him. He's kind of the name in boxing now. So anybody else that's looking to kind of make their name now can kind of turn it around. Is kind of the, I don't want to say the complete opposite, but Crawford obviously already had a legacy of his own. But Canelo Alvarez kind of hanging over him as maybe a little bit more popular worldwide. Hopefully this helps in Bud Crawford's publicity, which of course he's never been overly attention hungry or anything like that. He's not the promoter maybe that you might would expect out of some of the top names over the years, and so that's kind of held him down a little bit. But now having gone 12 and went in and again, shout out to Netflix for allowing everybody to see it this time. It was a good deal.
Yeah, I think it was a great deal. Hold on. I got this text right here I want to read to you. 3027 says the 97 team should run the team out. A dig at Michigan, no shared titles. All right, 3027. But if you ask who we always ask about, Google or Siri.
AI or something.
Yeah, ask Siri. 3027. Ask Siri on your phone. Who's the 1997 champion? And Siri will tell you. All right, do that for me, 3027, to get back with me.
It's unfortunate that they do that. Nebraska and Michigan, if they would have played that year, would have been fantastic.
It would have been an awesome
like
game. I mean, you probably want to give it to Nebraska because of we go here, but you also got to give a shout out to Michigan, who had a Heisman winner that year, and Charles Woodson had a great defense. Offense probably was a little bit not under ours, but you would look at a team with two great defenses trying to play each other.
Yeah, it would have been good. And obviously, you all get the tied in the 1997 tie shared championship that we're kind of talking about. Of course, that would be a 28-year reunion. Would you do that just because you have Michigan in town? Or maybe you could do that in 2 years. We'll see how the Big Ten schedule works out. But I mean, I get it. I think they're going to get the idea one way or the other. And there's going to be plenty of guys, not all of them, but guys from the 97 team that are also celebrating the 95 team.
There are 100 guys here this weekend from the 95 team.
Do you know what the plan is to kind of mobilize you guys? Do you know what you're doing that day?
Well, we're having a banquet.
Okay.
Friday, and we're going to walk all out on the field Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
And then they usually just name out starters during the game.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, I'm going to block you again, Eric. You keep it up. Eric said, man, we don't need you old guys trying to run out on the field. I mean, VJ Torres' Achilles tendon is just trying to hop. That's him. Yeah. We got a lot of more guys that can move.
Well, you had some ideas this offseason. You wanted to run the was it the black shirt flag over the Michigan sideline?
Let me run the black shirt flag out and plant it in front of Michigan.
Yeah.
Let Christian Peters give the pregame speech to the guys. if you see a guy like that could give a speech, me personally, I don't think Will Compton has anything that he can do better than Christian Peters. I'm just saying, I witnessed Christian Peters. His came from the heart, not just trying to do it for the fans. So, it's two different styles to get a game, get guys ready for the game, and I think Christian Peters would be a great way to do it.
Yeah, would not be bad. I have to see how he does. I love all the, you were there in the locker room. You talked about it. You even, from one of his pregame speeches, you got a little blood flowing a little bit. So it's kind of funny to see how over time those stories kind of get passed along. And I'm glad that I get to hear from somebody that was there, because I've heard everything from a chair to a Christmas ornament to a clock, of different things that Christian Peter would use to get the team going.
Yeah. Gus Mohawk said Nick Saban brought him a story with Tom Osborne, told him he wasn't bad as he thought. Little did he know that was one of the best teams in history. He said, did you guys know how good you were in 95? I think we did. I mean, that's why we played like that. We played with that swagger. We wasn't scared of anything. I think them playing for the national title the year before set the stage for that. I mean, especially when you come back out and you're probably ranked number 1 or 2 in the nation the whole year. And teams feared us. And if they didn't, we put the fear into them by the end of the game. So we didn't really have to boast and brag about it. We just went out there, handled business, destroyed you, and let the next guys get in.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. I mean, obviously, it's kind of the next step. We know about 94, unfinished business, right? You have to go in there and win that title, prove you belong, and win one for Tom, obviously. But what do you do from there, right? What's the big mantra after that? And, part of that is to go from great to even better, to one of the all-time greats, and continue to prove that you're number one. So I'm assuming there was a certain swagger already about being number one that kind of helped you guys get to that confidence level.
Yeah. All right, let's go to break, Bock, and when we come back, more college football. We're going to break down the top 25 to AP. We got a surprise, 2 guys who's in second place in both rushing and passing in the Big Ten. Heisman poll, we'll talk about that too. And we'll talk about some coaches who got fired over the weekend. 93.7 The Ticket, Bock the Blackshirt.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here a roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Rollouts have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Rollouts will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Rollouts make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Rolloffs, cleanup made simple.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at StarterHeyman.com.
Starter Heyman Jewelers.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley, defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
All right, welcome back to Bock The Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, it's college football all day now. Bock, Dylan Riola, and Emmett Johnson both held number 2 positions in passing and rushing yards in the Big Ten. Number 2 rusher, number 2 passer.
Yeah, that's obviously great news. Obviously, 3 games in, they had some stat games behind them. You put them up again. They could have ran up the stats if they wanted to in this last game, and that was part of what was kind of interesting about it was how long they're going to leave them in. How many statistics can they kind of add to their overall season statistics, which have looked good so far. But they figured no reason to necessarily do that. We see a lot of teams, obviously, pull your starters when you have the game well in hand. So they're not the only ones across the nation that maybe could have got more statistics than they did. But again, off to a good start. And man, as we see, and I know we'll talk about this in a little bit, but that move to change the offensive coordinator off that loss to UCLA, which is getting worse and worse as time goes on. In the change in offense since then, it's just going to be quite frank. It would be hard to imagine this happening under Marcus Satterfield. So obviously the change to Dana Holgerson, a big reason for what they've been able to do there. Emmett Johnson, again, kind of circle certain stats in the offseason. They're like, you need a little bit more than that. Only had 1 rushing touchdown last year, 2 in this previous game. So things are looking up for that offense. But of course, it's you kind of wonder, when you play these teams, they did, after all, only score 20 against Cincinnati. When you get to playing Big Ten defenses, are those stats going to hold up? Where do they look like? Where do they kind of go from there? Most importantly for Dylan, no interceptions so far. So if you can kind of keep that, the turnovers limited. Of course, Emmett did pop up, did drop 1 fumble that Nebraska lost against Akron. So, kind of keep on going in that direction as well. But to be among the conference elite at this point is again, something that would maybe have been hard to certainly think of, think would be happening for Nebraska's offense through maybe the first year and a half or what it might have been from Matt Rule and coaching staff there.
All right. Big Ten quarterback grades for week 3. Mendoza, A+. Dylan Riola, A. Washington, Maryland, A. Bryce Underwood, A-. Cadillac Manis, A-. Luke Allmeyer, B. Julius Sayin, B. Dante Moore, B. Mark Gronkowski, B. Aiden Childs, B. Drake Lindsay, B. Jaden Malvo, B. Drew Aller, C. Nico, you need to be gone from UCLA. C. Danny O'Neal, D. Do you agree with some of these grades, Bock?
Yeah, I mean they're fair enough. Obviously, good to see Dylan Riola up there and get better grading from this. Obviously, I remember in the week 1, we were kind of upset because they despite his numbers and his completion percentage, they kind of docked him a few points or a grade or 2 because a lot of those throws were underneath. So we've seen a little bit more of a variety of throws. Again, we'll kind of see what these defenses throw at Nebraska moving forward. If you have similar game plan, you might go back to, might see a team go back to that, what Cincinnati did, which was somewhat, again, hold Nebraska in check in that way to just 20 points that game. So we'll see. But obviously, again, kind of the bigger stories are the games you lose. Danny O'Neal, had to step in, with the Billy Edwards injury and try to get something done against Alabama. That's a lot to ask. Obviously didn't go well there. But again, the bigger story across the country and certainly in the Big Ten, maybe the biggest story so far of the season is UCLA completely blown up. And it was against New Mexico Friday night. Close game at halftime. New Mexico had a chance to take a 2-possession lead. They went for it on 4th down in the red zone, and I thought that might come back to bite them. No such, that was not the case because UCLA didn't have any bite in the second half. New Mexico ends up winning 35-10. By the way, might reflect a little bit on Michigan. Michigan's opening game this year was a 34-17 win over New Mexico. So maybe that looks a little bit better. I'm not sure. One way or the other kind of looks at, depends on how you look at UCLA, but that's kind of the story so far is, that kind of blowing up in their face. Deshaun Foster, of course, being let go. And Nico Iamaleava, you just kind of wonder what's next in the next couple of weeks. Is he going to remain the starter there? And then what's kind of next down the line for him?
Yeah, you have to wonder. I mean, you have to wonder what happened, what really was the deal with Eric Bieniemy, a guy that helped this offense last year. I know he could have helped Nico a lot this year.
Well, the offense was terrible last year.
Yeah, the offense was terrible last year, but you still have a guy that can when you have a guy like Nico that probably can play like Patrick Mahomes if you put him in a great West Coast offense or even a trickery offense like they do that kind of Kansas City offense. But, unfortunately, things come back. You don't do the right things, you get fired. Good luck to I forgot his name again. Their coach.
Is that Deshaun Foster?
Deshaun Foster on his further adventures. Then Virginia Tech coach gets fired.
Yeah.
They lost to James Madison, which wasn't even better than losing to New Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, for Virginia Tech, it's just they've never really got that thing going. Of course, we had Nate Brennan on staff a few years ago, huge Virginia Tech fan. And it was actually Old Dominion this past week that beat them 45-26. Not the first time that Old Dominions got the better of them in recent years. It's a long way from Beamer Ball, unfortunately. Still kind of looking for somebody to take that mantle.
Shane Beamer.
And be the next guy. Shane Beamer certainly could be
Michael Vick.
An opportunity. Michael Vick, 1-2 at Norfolk State. Is that enough? We'll see.
Hey, I'm just saying.
But I don't know. It's definitely interesting.
His record is not bad as some of these coaches that's coaching now, though. If you look at it, I mean, he's just a young guy. I mean, but just having Michael Vick at Virginia Tech will probably be the best thing they can do to get kids to go there.
Well, it's interesting because you kind of look at that strategy so far. It might look better if, because that's kind of the celebrity former player hire, right? Kind of along the Dion line.
Put a supporting cast around him, Bock.
Well, again, that's what that's. But the problem is that's just kind of what Deshaun Foster was.
He didn't have he had no names with him.
He had Eric Bieniemy, like you're saying, as his offensive coordinator. That's the kind of the name of names for a lot of people on the offensive side of the ball, and it absolutely blew up in their face. Now, to that point, Deshaun Foster had not been a coordinator, much less a head coach. Michael Vick at least getting some of that experience under his belt at Norfolk State. So I don't know. That wouldn't be the first place that I would look, but it wouldn't surprise me either. Again, with the level of success that Dion has had at Colorado, but now Colorado's struggling a little bit, and it just kind of makes you wonder, how well that plan might work out at somewhere else, unless you are bringing in that level of talent. It appears and still appears to be the case that not that Colorado's awful or anything. They've lost a couple of close games, but obviously, where they were last year and the national prominence they had in year one might have had a lot more to do with Travis Hunter and a top 10 quarterback in the game than Deion Sanders. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't, Deion coached him. He got him there, all that. Not that it was a spectacular record to begin with, but it's kind of interesting ongoing view of maybe an outside the box coaching hire, kind of with the former players in mind.
All right, Bock, let's hit the AP Top 25. You got 11 SEC teams in the Top 25, 7 Big Ten teams, 3 Big 12 teams, 3 ACC teams, and 1 independent. Bock, what do you think about the changes on the new Top 25? Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, LSU 3, Miami 4, UGA 5, Oregon 6, Florida State 7, a 1-loss Texas at 8, who got booed off the field a little bit.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Illinois. Number 10, Texas A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M, one of the biggest movers, moved up 6 spots there for an incredible catch. Not necessarily, for Nate Borkacher, kind of moving toward the ball, getting it on 4th down. Marcel Reed was scrambling, kind of just threw it up because he had to. It was 4th down. Chance to beat Notre Dame, and they were able to get that job done. So they move up 6 spots. I think that was among the biggest movers. Alabama moved up 5 spots from number 19 to number 14. That with their big victory over Wisconsin. So there is that. Ole Miss moved up 4 spots to number 13 after their victory over Arkansas. Close game, by the way. And then we saw a couple other teams, Utah, Texas Tech, move up ahead of their showdown this week in the Big 12. So they're at number 16 and 17 now. Not kind of interesting just to see the movement there. And then Tennessee, now at 2-1, didn't drop, I don't think at all, after the loss to Georgia, which was fair enough. Had a game-winning field goal opportunity out at regulation to win. It went to overtime, not able to get it done, though they did hit that basically same length of field goal in overtime. Georgia Tech not moving around after their big win over Clemson. They're at number 18. A little bit surprised not to see them a little bit higher, but I think the love for Clemson and the belief that they're among the nation's elite is dwindling, if not all the way faded. Vanderbilt up to number 20 as they've been impressive so far this year. So shout out to Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt. They said this is the year they kind of take over Tennessee. A lot of people make fun of them for maybe living in that Alabama moment a little bit too much, but Vanderbilt's not. I'd be interested to go back and look and see how often they start a year 3-0 because that just does not happen very often in general to see an undefeated Vanderbilt team. USC jumps in the top 25. The surprise amongst anything might be that Notre Dame at 0-2, still ranked at 24. What do you think about that? Now they've lost when you include Texas A&M now as a top 10 opponent, as well as the opening season loss. They've lost 2 games. The opening season loss to Miami, obviously. They've lost 2 games to top 10 opponents by a total of 4 points, but they're 0-2.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't, but if I could, they'll be in the back end like they are right now. I mean, Notre Dame, the only team since what was that, 1937? 37 years in the poll, Bock. This is the first time, another time that a team started 0-2 and still being ranked.
Yeah, and they knew coming in that was kind of their biggest part of the schedule. That was going to be difficult. 2 ranked teams out of the gate.
Yeah.
With USC sneaking into the rankings now, they've got another ranked team to look forward to, but that's it. I mean, they've only got USC as far as ranked teams. Of course, there's going to be other challenges. We'll see what Purdue can kind of give them this week, but it is interesting. I mean, they could still very much go through the path we saw last year, lose early in the season, everybody write you off, and then just keep about your business, get back into it, and maybe by year's end could be playing some of the best ball once again.
Yeah, it's early in the season. Like I said, they can win 10 straight, still make it to the playoffs. Clemson can probably win 10 straight, still make it to the playoffs, but, it's still a lot of football to go out here. But, hey, Georgia Tech, baby, I told you.
Yeah, Ramblin' Wright getting it done. It is interesting, though, too, because we saw with the adjustment to the expanded, the expanded playoffs, and just kind of the big matchups out of the gate, you're kind of thinking, okay, when teams start 0-1, we had 3 top 10 matchups in week 1. Those teams didn't drop out of the top 10. And now, as you were kind of stating there, 2 of those teams now have lost twice with Clemson and Notre Dame. Clemson's being a little bit more problematic with the game-winning field goal from Georgia Tech. Again, Georgia Tech now moving up into the ranking. Clemson is out of it. So, I mean, and that's surprising. When you look at it right now, not surprising that they're out of it, just surprising to where Clemson has already fallen. We talk about preseason teams going from top 10 to by the end of the season not being anywhere close. Clemson, again, could win 10 straight. We don't know at this point, but they're receiving less votes than Nebraska is. So they're barely hanging on to the other receiving votes category. So it'll be interesting because they have almost to have any, the success team that Dabo Swinney kind of set there is they don't have a whole lot of room for error at this point. They're pretty much going to have to win out to feel like they've had a good season. And we'll see how that plays out. Plenty of tests still ahead of Clemson.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, Nebraska lost votes again this week in the polls, so we'll have to get them back this week against Michigan. Bock, when we talk about teams or games this weekend, what are some of the best games you've seen this weekend? I'm going to talk about the Georgia-Tennessee game, man. When you talk about giving the game up, when you talk about you had the game in your back pocket, only thing you had to do was kick it. Then you get another chance, Bock, and you jump off sides, and you miss it again. How can you live with yourself as Tennessee fans to let Georgia come in there and take that game away from you?
Well, it's tough. It makes it 9 straight, doesn't it? So, there's also that extended load that you're kind of carrying with you. Yeah, I mean, it was a back and forth game. Big plays kind of on both sides of the ball, obviously, to get to the final score. And so Georgia just kind of kept fighting back, right? There were certain times in that game looked like Tennessee might start to kind of create some space, but wasn't able to. Georgia would fight back, and they'd take the lead. So it was just one of the best games we've seen all year. I don't think Tennessee has to feel particularly bad. Don't necessarily love, again, the commentator on that game kind of already kind of going out and saying, well, it doesn't mean the world to Tennessee that they lost this game. They still can get in the playoffs. And again, that's just a part of the reality of the expanded playoffs. A lot of people like it. I personally like regular season games. I mean, can you imagine, these type of losses or this type of weekend if the SEC East implications were on this and there are 14 playoffs? Tennessee might be out of, having to hope for things to fall in their direction to kind of get back into it. But as it stands, you do have the expanded playoffs, and so Tennessee's still got plenty to fight for. Might be one of the best teams here, and certainly a team that you expect with Joey Aguilar only a few games underneath him. They're starting for Tennessee, might improve as the season goes on. So they definitely see that as a missed opportunity, though. I mean, how could with an opportunity at a game-winning kick and then failing to win in overtime?
Yeah. All right, Bob. Next game I want to talk about, Iowa State. They struggled with Arkansas State. Bob barely beat them 24-16. How did that look when voters look at that part of it, Bob?
Well, it's interesting. Iowa State didn't move around too much from that loss. Sometimes those narrow wins can hurt you. They actually moved up to. They're interesting because, I mean, the Big 12 as a whole is very interesting. I was going to say, watching that K-State game, man, that Kansas State's just not very good. And so, when you kind of keep that in mind with the fact that they took Iowa State to the brink, Iowa did the same thing. It's a tough read. Iowa State, I mean, in college football, obviously you take the wins how you can get them 4-0, they'll move on. They just I don't think they're going to overwhelm anybody. And I'm still interested to see, despite what we might think of a tough schedule out of the gate with K-State and Iowa involved in there, how does that hold up? Obviously, Iowa's got their own struggles with being able to put points on the board and passing the ball again. And Kansas State just looks as bad as it has under Chris Kleiman for K-State there, and in quite some time for Manhattan in Manhattan. So we'll see. I'm not convinced Iowa State's the 12th best team in the country. But again, I mean, these are kind of the ups and downs of college football. Maybe they could kind of pick it up. Maybe they haven't had the best start. They don't look the best, but they're undefeated and they can kind of get it rolling. But as I look ahead to this week, you got Texas Tech and Utah on Big Noon. To me, though those teams are ranked behind Iowa State, I would think that they have a better chance at winning the conference now, just based on what I've seen from the Cyclones so far.
All right, Bach, one of the best games I've seen Saturday night, Bach. It was an exciting game. It was one of the most put-on shows of quarterbacks that I have seen probably this year. Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Taylon Green, Bach, 22 of 35 for 305 yards. He also had 14 carries for 115 yards, Bach. When you talk about a game that goes back and forth, that was the one that I'm talking about, Bach.
Yeah, Ole Miss comes out on top 41-35. So it was definitely a close game, like you said. Very, very interesting. Ultimately, Ole Miss pulls away and gets the win, and you kind of feel bad for Arkansas. Their head coach always kind of coming up a little bit short in a lot of these games. Yeah, I think you picked Arkansas because they can give these teams a test. Ole Miss, we're still kind of wondering, what they were going to look like this season. After losing their star quarterback. So far, so good for them, but we'll see. Again, it's tough to tell, especially some of these early season games. What does this mean? Because it's a solid win for Ole Miss. I think Lane Kiffin's a heck of a coach. And so far they've beaten Kentucky close and they've beaten Arkansas close. And those are teams, each of them within one possession. Again, similar to Iowa State, you'll take the wins any way you can get them. But the competition is going to amp up here in a little bit. You look down the list of Ole Miss's schedule: LSU, Georgia, Oklahoma, to name a few. We'll see it. And again, it's not all about would you have won Saturday. It's will you win if you're Ole Miss on the 27th against LSU? Will you win? October 18th. Are you in a better position at that point against Georgia? So we'll see.
All right, let's go to break, Bock, and when we come back, we're going to go over the games we went last week and the text line. We got some good news for you. 93.7 The Ticket, Bock in the Black Shirt.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska insider today.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at starterheyman.com.
Starter Heyman Jewelers.
Looking to upgrade your equipment and keep cash in your pocket? Through August at Landmark Implement, get up to a 24-month waiver on select John Deere tractors and combines, or lock in a 1.9% fixed rate for 36 months, followed by 6.2% interest fixed for up to another 36 months. When planning for this year's harvest, we've got a solution that works for your bottom line. Visit your Landmark Implement today and check us out at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Harvest season is here, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade now. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends September 30th, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox KFXL weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. It'll be warm with an afternoon high near 89. Tonight, mostly clear skies and calm winds, low near 66. Tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. It'll be hot with a high around 90. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hi, this is Tom Osborne. Join me on September 23rd and dine at your favorite local Renza in support of Teammates Mentoring. 10% of Renza sales on September 23rd will benefit your local Teammates Mentoring chapter. Teammates Mentoring helps students reach their full potential by providing a caring adult mentor to meet with them once a week in school. Thank you for your support of Teammates Mentoring. We will see you at Runza on September 23rd.
You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, Bock, let's go through the games and recap what we did over the weekend.
All right. Well, it has been thus far into the season. The text line that's getting the best of us. And the text line had another pretty darn good weekend. So we'll see if we were able to keep up as we kind of get going into this week. Again, I entered here at, 14-9. Terrell, you came in at 13, so you're a game behind me, 13-10. And the text line was at 15-8. So they were winning it so far in this year. We'll go over the specific games here, but I'll go ahead and let you know the text line defeated us once again. The text line is off to a great start. They went 8-2 this weekend and are now at 23-10. So shout out to some of you guys out there, the listeners. If you don't know, the picks we do on Friday, the first person from the text line to type in their pick and text it and send it along, that's the pick we go with. They correctly called wins by Vanderbilt, Arizona, Ole Miss, Houston, Georgia, Texas A&M, Cal, which neither of us got, and LSU. So fantastic picks from them. They also picked Vanderbilt. Neither of us picked up on Vanderbilt getting that win either. So text line doing well so far. As far as you and myself, I went 6-4 this weekend. Nothing to brag about, nothing to get too excited about, but I did correctly call Georgia Tech's win, Ole Miss's win, Houston's victory, Miami's victory.
You
Texas
didn't call it. You just
LSU.
picked it. You didn't. Yeah, you didn't call the Georgia Tech. I called Georgia Tech a week before that. I said, "I know." You know that. I knew that Georgia.
You were early on in the week. You did
I
let
knew
me know.
Georgia Tech could beat Clemson. So I just like we beat Colorado. Eric, we're not worried about you. Yeah, that's right. We're smarter than the professionals. Always have to say something. Always.
Hey, he's there to annoy you. That's his goal. Terrell, this week you went 5-5, despite that Nostradamus early pick of Georgia Tech. You did pick Georgia, which was good. You picked Miami, Texas A&M, and LSU to win.
Yeah, my rest of them was trash.
Well, you went on some limbs trying to sound smart.
No more Mr. Nice Guy when I picked. No more than Mr. Nice Guy.
And of course, there was no line last week as far as the over under for Nebraska, or I suppose the amount that the point spread.
I said 56.
Yeah,
I said 56-3 Saturday.
I think I said 52.5 and it ended up being 52. That makes me sound like I'm from Vegas. But other than that didn't work. By the way, this week, as I kind of looked ahead, I already kind of scheduled some games that to kind of get excited about. Now, these aren't necessarily what we have to pick from, but there's a few of them that are definitely going to be on there. Iowa at Rutgers, Friday night. That's the Friday night game. I think could be exciting. Iowa only favored by 2.5 there. I mentioned it in the last segment. Texas Tech and Utah. Big noon this week. Number 17, Texas Tech, and number 16, Utah. Number 22, Auburn heading to number 11, Oklahoma. Of course, that's interesting because Jackson Arnold was the starting quarterback for Oklahoma, now the starting quarterback for Auburn. OU favored by 6.5 in that one. We will predict the Michigan-Nebraska game. Early line right now for Michigan, -3. By the way, secondary market, $122 to get into that game if you don't have your ticket yet. Tulane at Ole Miss, I think could be interesting. Number 13, Ole Miss. South Carolina dealing with a quarterback injury. At number 23, Missouri. So we'll kind of see, if that game's a little bit more interesting, if South Carolina is full go. Florida at number 4, Miami would be a really good one. Miami right now favored by 7.5 in that one. Number 9, Illinois at number 19, Indiana. And the Hoosiers, actually, despite being ranked lower, favored by 3.5. And then another couple games that I thought might be of interest. I think those ones probably all clear the bar to get in. And Terrell, you can always pick some different games if you want to. But I think Michigan State at number 25, USC, certainly is interesting, with Michigan State being Nebraska's next opponent and USC being an opponent down the line. And then North Carolina and UCF. We're finally there. Scott Frost versus Bill Belichick. The game everybody wanted to see, right? From the moment we saw these ACC schedules being released. UCF, Scott Frost, favored to beat Bill Belichick this weekend by 6.5 points. And I don't know where to pick on that. You got an early Nostradamus pick on North Carolina and UCF for us, Terrell?
No, not yet. I haven't even watched them play that much, but at the same time, I know it's going to be a good one.
I hope it's going to be a good one. Both those teams haven't looked great early on. A couple other games that aren't going to quite probably make it on our list, but are still exciting for different reasons. You got the Civil War between Oregon and Oregon State. Unfortunately, Oregon State has lost 3 games already. They're 0-3, so they're not off to a good start. Oregon favored by 34.5, but it will cost you $107 to get in. We got Purdue at Notre Dame. Purdue kept it close enough with USC. Maybe they could make it interesting against Notre Dame, of course, who we talked about 0-2 and still in the top 25, favored by 26.5 against Purdue. Tickets right now still $67. People still interested. And then you have the Apple Cup. Washington State hosting Washington. Once again, Washington State not looking the best out of the gate so far. Washington looked pretty good, so they are favored by 20.5. Might be one that's more interesting in the point spread than who's going to win with those couple games. But again, people are interested. $144 to get into the Apple Cup this weekend.
Ooh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, there's a lot of $100 games this weekend.
All right, Bock. What else you got?
Well, as we kind of go from there, I do want to kind of circle in around a little bit back to the firings that we did see happen with UCLA and dive into that. Deshaun Foster, of course, doesn't make it a season and a half. And it's altogether very interesting. UCLA obviously coming to the Big Ten, and that was a big deal. And maybe there was a sign early on, in Deshaun Foster's tenure that this might not work out. I want to take you back to Big Ten Media Day, because this is always what I will remember about Deshaun Foster and his tenure at Nebraska. Unfortunately, other than the fact that they beat Nebraska, and we'll talk about that and how bad that loss last year looks too. So there's a lot of Nebraska stuff tied into this. But if you don't recall, this was Deshaun Foster's Big Ten Media Day press conference debut a couple of years ago.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten. We'll begin with your opening statement.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting 2 great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
Deshaun Foster, I think, just forgot what he's doing up there on stage to open up with. You got to remember the context around that is what makes it so kind of baffling and funny is that, UCLA was one of the big additions. I mean, that was the whole idea with the Big Ten media that day is, wow, USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon, all joining the conference. And, his opening statement is like, oh, you guys probably don't know too much about UCLA. We're from LA. Keep in mind, they're all like sports journalist professionals in the room having to make, they had to make travel plans to get there, all of that. So all of that just kind of ties into the hilariousness of that. And of course, right then, I mean, there's obviously a lot of different parts that go to leading a college football program, but the speaking portion of it wasn't necessarily the best part of Deshaun Foster. Luckily, this past year, he was able to have a little bit of fun with that at the Big Ten Media Days. But I'll tell you, in one way, that might have been more impressive somehow than Scott Frost's latest Big Ten Media Day appearance there. But outside of that shot, also, it was just, I thought that it became apparent that Deshaun Foster was a little bit in over his head. Of course, we talked about they brought in Eric Bieniemy to be the offensive coordinator last year. That was a disaster. Did not work well for UCLA there either. And so it's all kind of gone poorly there. And then another thing to kind of think about is, remember, all of this kind of happened because Chip Kelly left the UCLA job, but he didn't just leave it. There were rumors going into his final game there in 2023 that if he lost, and apparently the rumors were substantial enough that it made him want to get out of there, that if he lost to USC, he was going to be fired. And they went out there and they beat USC, excuse me. That was after they had a few losses to Arizona and Arizona State that fired up the fans. So, so the last 3 years at UCLA for Chip Kelly, he had a couple of years that struggled to get going out of the bus, which kind of put the pressure on him. And then the last 3 years, they were able to turn it around, win 8, 9, and 8. And so that kind of lets you know, again, the struggles last year for UCLA under Deshaun Foster. It's not all these jobs are taken with the same expectations, right? I would more compare Deshaun Foster's job at UCLA was to take what Chip Kelly had and build from there, right? And from those 8 wins that he was kind of getting year after year. It's kind of back to the Bo Pelini thing here where Mike Riley was brought in. Of course, separate situations in that I didn't like the Mike Riley hire because I thought he had proven that he probably didn't deserve the Nebraska job. Didn't like this Deshaun Foster hire that he probably didn't prove that either, but he didn't have anything on his resume. And I thought that they were maybe trying to kind of go along with the Dion type of hire, get the former player that's one of the best players in program history. He's already on the coaching staff. Promote him to head coach and surround him there. But apparently not a whole lot of belief in him in the long term as UCLA tanks him here after a 35-10 loss to New Mexico. So he finishes at UCLA with just a 5-10 record a year and 3 games into his tenure there, and he's let go. All of that to kind of say and to kind of go back on, that loss last year that UCLA gave to Nebraska sure isn't aging well. And we knew it wasn't great at the time. Remember when they beat Nebraska, it was the week after that Nebraska decided to make the change at offensive coordinator. If you remember that game, they won 27-20, but I think they were up, substantially early on. It took Nebraska a little bit to get back in that game. There's nothing that can be done about it now, but Terrell, in your mind, does Deshaun Foster's short stint in UCLA, the frustration with kind of moving on from him, does that make last year's loss any worse for Nebraska?
Yeah. Still does.
Doesn't reflect well on it.
Still doesn't. I mean, we that was a game we should have won, and we should have been able to hold on to win it, but we didn't. So, you let them get away with that one. That probably saved his job last year more than anything. But, we can't afford to lose to the teams that we shouldn't lose to. So we got the Big Ten coming in. Maybe Michigan State's one of those teams we shouldn't have to lose to, but we still have to go out there and play the game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, but as far as forward looking at Nebraska now, not backwards, you've got 2 games on the schedule here. One this week, one down the line with an interim coach, or at least not the head coach on the sidelines that they began the year with. So maybe more of a possibility, an opportunity to get some wins there. We know the Michigan game still provides all its all its challenges, even with Biff Poggi as the leader. UCLA, we'll see what it looks like. Again, when they're good, it's tough to get people to go to the Rose Bowl. When they're bad, there's hardly going to be any fans going there. So when Nebraska makes that trip to the Rose Bowl, we'll see where what's left of UCLA at that point. And I'm almost willing to bet at this point that there'll be no more Nebraska fans than UCLA fans there.
Yeah. All right, Bock, let's go to break. And when we come back, we'll close it out for the end of the day. But stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll talk Michigan football. How good, how bad, how ugly, how much it's going to take for us to win this game Saturday, Bock. 93.7 The Ticket, Bock and the Blackshirt.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Hi, this is Tom Osborne. Join me on September 23rd and dine at your favorite local Renza in support of Teammates Mentoring. 10% of Renza sales on September 23rd will benefit your local Teammates Mentoring chapter. Teammates Mentoring helps students reach their full potential by providing a caring adult mentor to meet with them once a week in school. Thank you for your support of Teammates Mentoring. We will see you at Runza on September 23rd.
Join LES at 6 p.m. Thursday, October 9th at the LES Operations Center to learn about the utilities' proposed 2026 budget and electric rates, and share your input at the annual public meeting. Learn more at les.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
seems like just the other day, I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, we hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Harvest season is here, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade now. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's akrs.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends September 30th, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Schwizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwizo.com. That's schwisow.com.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to Bock the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. For the first time in many years, Bock, Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2. I know a lot of people not going to like that here in Nebraska, but the Chiefs are 0-2, Bock. How bad does that look?
Well, it's not the best look, but obviously, again, they've played some pretty good competition out of the gate doing that. My Cardinals are 2-0, and I feel pretty good about that, but they did so far they've faced the Saints and the Panthers, and I'm not completely convinced that the Chiefs might not be 2-0 with that same schedule. So, a game 3 points away from beating the defending Super Bowl champion, I don't think it's time to completely panic, but at the same time, the stats aren't kind to teams that start off 0-2, even less to teams that start off 0-3. So big week ahead of them.
Oh yeah, they did play the defending national champions when they played the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday at a score of 2017. Who's the defensive lineman for Chris Jones?
Chris Jones is talking, yeah.
Him and what's the quarterback? Jalen Hurt was yelling at each other at the end of the game. He said, "You didn't even have 100 yards." He said, we won the game.
That's right. Can you imagine talking trash while you're about to lose? I mean, this was like the final snaps of the game.
It was crucial, and I love it. Tonight we have the Chargers versus the Raiders, so that's going to be a good game. Come on tonight, and let's see, Buck. I'm just so happy for football now that football is finally back on these stages. Green Bay and Washington played a great game. Who else? Joe
Burrow.
Joe Burrow out for 3 months. Who's going to take his place?
Yeah, that's it's definitely tough for Cincinnati and not great for our friend Zach Taylor, former Husker, obviously been the coach there. The good news, they're 2-0 at this point. Started off with a win over the Browns, and of course the win yesterday over the Jaguars. maybe similar thing to what I was saying about my Cardinals earlier. That's not the toughest path. So Jake Browning looks to be the guy to be able to give it a go. Not sure. I mean, obviously, you kind of look at the game yesterday. Did not have the best game to kind of fill it out because he did finish with 3 interceptions. But that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the Bengals. I don't know if you get necessarily if you're Zach Taylor, if the management's going to look the other way on that. They've had a tumultuous offseason trying to get everybody signed. So it's just not the best start. But of course, it's football. I mean, we've been there. We've seen over the last couple of years a lot of starting and star quarterbacks go down. And in fact, although Joe Burrow is the one with the that's going to miss the most time thus far, as my phone's kind of battling against me. There are a few quarterback injuries yesterday that are of note, so they're not going to be the only ones to kind of deal with it. But of course, again, this is the longest one that looks like it's going to be sitting him for the longest. Daniels, the Commanders' Daniels has a knee injury. McCarthy with an ankle injury is going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. But like you said, 3 months expected to be the time for toe surgery for Joe Burrow.
All right, Bob, we got 2 games. My bad. We got Tampa Bay versus Houston tonight, too, at 6 a.m.
Right, yeah.
On ABC, ESPN. Then you have the Los Angeles Clippers.
Chargers.
Chargers
There's a lot of Los Angeles.
Versus the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, that is a little bit more difficult, isn't it? Trying to figure out where the Chargers and the Raiders play at this point, because a couple of years ago, those have been different situations. But yeah, I mean, I'm always down for 2 Monday night football games. Sometimes these are reserved for opening week or closer to the end or whatever it might be. But yeah, I mean, get more games visible here.
All right, Bach, we're out for the day. When we come back tomorrow, we're going to listen to all the press conferences. We're going to talk Michigan football. We're going to talk Nebraska football. Can we get on track? Can we do the things that we need to do to win this game? It's going to be the most physical game you played thus far this year. And when I say the Wolverines are coming to town, they're coming to town. 93.7 The Ticket, Bock the Blackshirt. We'll see you tomorrow.
No cravings, no hunger pains, no struggle. Thanks to GLP-1s from Limitless Mayo, weight loss is possible. Picture this. Your clothes fit better, your energy's up, your doctor's impressed, and your friends start noticing.